What is up, guys? I'm Mikey31 here. Other edition of the film room here, and this one I'm going to be talking a lot about the great Earl Thomas, and also some things I noticed about general trends with how Seattle played coverage this past week against the Denver Broncos. Some interesting things I observed when I was going over this. But yeah, let's talk about Earl and what makes Earl so special. This is the quintessential Seattle Seahawks single high look that we're all familiar with, and the league's been trying to copy for the past going on 6 years or so. Single high, cover three with a mix of spot drop and match principles. And, the idea is to contest routes down the sideline with bail technique by your corners. You have your deep lying center field safety who has to cover numbers to numbers here. Down the deep seams, you have your hook zone defenders here as well, and your curl to flat defenders who will convert to man coverage depending on release of the receivers and match vertically, and really try to force force offenses to have to check down to the shallow area around here where they can be cracked by linebackers. And if they do try to force it down the middle of the field, you have routes bracketed by inside defenders matching routes, and Earl patrolling anything that would get by, as well as having the range to reach anything thrown down the deep sideline to help out his corners. It really puts a lot of stress on this player here. If you don't have a stud that can handle that, you'll see what happens when I show you more footage of guys who aren't Earl Thomas. But anyhow, here's a quintessential Seattle Seahawks single high look here. Corners are in press alignment. Broncos are in a bunch trips formation here at the bottom of your screen, solo side here. Now here is, a prototype example of the Seahawks match coverage techniques out of cover three. Against a trips formation like this, you see bunch to the bottom, solo side receiver here. This corner here is going to be locked into man-to-man coverage. This corner here is also showing a press alignment, but he's going to bail, protecting the deep sideline. You see the deep lying safety here in Earl. You have your underneath hook defenders here, and these curl flat defenders will relate to receivers as they break vertical. Whoops. So here's the play in slow motion. Again, you're going to see the corner here. He's locked in the man coverage everywhere he goes. Corner here is showing press. He's going to bail. Here's your underneath hooks, and here are your flat defenders, and they will match vertical routes. Now this is a quick pass, so there's nothing really to match vertically, but so they just convert to flat defenders. You see the corner bailing here at the bottom of the screen. He's selling out to protect the deep sideline. The weakness to that is that you can hit a little spot route or a little curl underneath him or a comeback route. You'll see that that's open here on the bottom of the screen. Keenum's looking at the slant all the way. But you see here, because of the bail, there's a hole here. Man coverage here. You got, Bobby Wagner here looking to blow him up as well. And if this pass is deflected, a little bit further inside, Earl is here to pick it off. Earl is always, always, always around the ball more often than he's not. His instincts are just insane. That's a good clip of match rules against trips, again, solo side, man coverage, and your normal cover three rules, cover three pattern match rules around that. Now, what was interesting about this game is that Seattle played a lot of cover six and quarters looks, and it makes sense. You don't have Cam Chancellor there to be that enforcer. So they kind of have Earl doing a little bit of both roles, where he can be that run fit defender at a cover six and at a quarters, and still also relate to number two and lock down that side of the field and play your customary quarters techniques there. And, on the weak side of the formation, you have your cover two side. Now, how can you tell when you're seeing quarters or a cover six? You watch how the safeties relate to the number two receiver. We play this at speed here. You're going to see before the snap, you see this corner is bailing out all the way, and this corner is still squatting. That's a good cover six tell. You see the safety here skating out. You see Earl keying the release here, the inside receiver, and the corner here playing your press and sink. That's cover six all the way. And damn near picks it off. Played in slow motion. Corner bailing out. Corner top of your screen staying home. Safety bailing out of there. So this is going to be either quarters or cover six. You see your jam and sink cover two technique here. That tells you it's cover six. Bracketing number one vertical here. Number two verticals being walled off here. The flat is wide open. Keenum does not want to take it for some reason. He decides to, you see, he's sinking, sinking, sinking. Deep half. And that's where he decides to throw the ball and puts this guy into a world of hurt. And again, it makes sense. Without Cam there, you don't have that enforcer there that can play the run and also really crack in that safety spot. So they have Earl doing a little bit of both. Again, slow motion. So you can see how this develops. They're lining up again. Split field safeties. He's bailing out already. He's squatting. Top of your screen, you see he's sinking after the jam and reroute. Deep half there. And a much better route combination here, attacking all three levels. You got your shallow, your intermediate, and your deep flood. Basically a sail concept, and it catches this defender in between. He's out leveraged the sideline as well, and a nice little hole there to complete it. Now on third down, third and long, this is what this league is all about now on third down. Roll up, tight man coverage with a rat in the hole and a deep safety, and bring 4 or 5. Close airspace, force the offense to make a tight throw into coverage, force them to show that they can beat your man coverage. Showing pressure, they're bringing 5. Dropping a rat in the hole, deep safety, press coverage all the way around, and there's not a single easy throw here. Everyone sticks on their man like glue, and you're forced to throw the fade down the sideline. Low percentage pass. That's really all you want. You want to force contested throws, preferably to the deep sideline, and defend the middle of the field. Defend the middle out. 5-man rush. Good stunt up front. They don't quite get through, but blanket coverage all the way across the field. Now, this play is what makes Earl Thomas great. Again, single high look, and everyone knows that this is Seattle's bread and butter. So, what does Seattle see a lot? They see, a healthy dose of verticals, of course. They see sail concepts. They see switch concepts. Press coverage look, but it's not going to be press coverage. It's going to be three match. It's going to be cover three with man-to-man principles. You see, the corner tips his hand a little bit early. He's bailing out already. Bailing out already. And they're going to be running a wheel post combo, switch here. And they're going to be running a scissors concept here, quick slant. With a little curl here. And Keenum actually tries to look Earl off, but Earl does not buy it at all. Because he knows once he sees that there's nothing coming here, and you have an inside stepping route here, he knows what's coming. He knows the wheel's coming here, and he knows that there's nothing else to worry about, so he just allows Keenum to think that he can get that throw in there. The corner's playing with outside leverage because he knows he has help here. And range is not just speed, it's instincts and it's technique. He doesn't fall for the look off. We'll backtrack it a little bit here. Keenum's trying to look him off. He stays right at home. Trying to look him off. He stays right at home. He sees the inside stem, and he's gone already. The ball's not even out yet. He knows where it's going. Boom. INT. Watch how early he breaks on this. He knew the quarterback was trying to look him off. He knew it was coming backside, so he just sat there and waited for Keenum to come back and commit to the throw. He's breaking on the ball before the receiver even looks back to the pass. That is just an insane, insane, insane display of instincts. Look at that speed again. Look off, stays home, boom. And again, look at the coverage techniques around it. Showing press pre-snap, bailing out, match coverage, take a man-to-man, hook underneath, and there's your INT. Now, here are the things that happen to single high safeties who are not Earl Thomas or that elite guy who can play this scheme or play it consistently well. Play fake, gets looked off, chasing a who knows what, backside post, vacated, completion. This is straight man coverage all the way. This is man one. Play fake and bad eye discipline. He's out of position. You got double post coming. Deep post is open because he cannot get all the way back as he's drifted all the way over here. I mean, guys are only human, mistakes happen, but those are the kind of things that happen more often when you don't have a guy with the discipline to stay home and not fall for that stuff. Here it is from behind the quarterback. Looks him off, looks him off, looks him off, comes back, and there's no one there. Middle of the field's vacated, completion. You also get crap like this from the Bucks lighting up of the Saints. Let's let them go free right down the middle. That is a cardinal sin. Cardinal sin. I mean, look at this. Fitzy looks him off, and he just flies completely unobstructed. Now this is going to be a bust. They start out in single high, they jump to two deep safeties, but this is going to be quarters. But someone does not get the call. Again, we look at how these safeties are relating to the number two receivers. Straight quarter zone here, all number two vertical, all number two vertical. And I think this is Shaquem Griffin. Instead of getting out to the flat, he stays underneath number one, and that means no one's out to the flat. So with the motion, this becomes the three receiver side. Snap of the ball, straight vertical release. So he's going to match him, straight vertical release, match him. Here's your underneath hook, and he does not get out. So yes, even professional athletes will get a check wrong. All right. Have you ever wondered what all cross out of bunch should look like against match in real life? Cover three match. They're running crossers here. They're wheeling a guy from underneath. Where did he come from, actually? This is actually really swanky. The inside guy. Number one on the bunch is going to go wheeling out. Here's your corner here. He knows that he has his wheel accounted for, so he can overlap number two going across the field with Earl. Here's your hook. He's man locked. So because he's man locked, Bobby Wagner, he'd be your Madden three receiver hook. Bobby Wagner has to run with number three vertical across the field. You have to have the linebacker to do that, or you're not going to be able to play this defense. You have to have the single high safety. You have to have the athletic backers who can run with crossers and also close underneath. And you have to have the pass rush to disrupt the timing of, these routes developing. And Wagner is able to hold up and do it. So when you're playing Madden and your three receiver hook is being roasted by Tyreek Hill, well, not a whole heck of a lot of linebackers can run with Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is a walking seam buster. Don't be complaining that the coverage is broken. It's not. You just don't have a good enough athlete to make the play that you want to make. Now, if you want to cover Tyreek Hill, you better sub-package a DB that can run. But in this case, Bobby Wagner is one of the rare linebacker athletes in the league that can run the crosser all the way across the field and make a play like that in coverage. Tell you what I'm not in love with. I'm not in love with how Seattle's pass rush looks early in the year. That bears watching. Because really the way you want to attack this, you want to attack it, like I said, with deep crossers, but they take a year and a day to develop. So you have to have a good pass rush. But also, if you're not going to be able to attack the ball down the middle of the field or with deep crossers, there's a lot of space in here because you have only two underneath defenders accounting for all that grass. Otherwise, you have James White going off of 14 catches and slipping tackles underneath and getting lots of yards. But everything has their weaknesses. All things being equal, you'll take a back having to have a, you know, Super Bowl record receiving day underneath against you, as opposed to giving up chunk yards down the seam, down the sideline, and on deep crossers. You just got to pick your poison. But you got to be able to run. You got to be able to tackle. That's just a pitch play. So really, if you cannot run the ball enough to run play action to get those linebackers up so you have voids behind the linebacker and underneath that single high safety, or, play action flood concepts to attack multiple levels on the sideline, it's going to be a tough day because if you have the right personnel and they're well coached and they know what they're doing, it's going to be really tough to pass the ball over the middle between the numbers and outside. There's a reason why everyone's trying to imitate, this defense. It took what the Tampa 2 established in the late 90s, early 2000s, and changed the coverage shell and modernized it. You still have the corners having to account for. You still have to account for the outside corner and fade routes, but you're doing that with the corners instead of the combination of a underneath and over the top defender, and you have your deep run through being run by a middle of the field safety as opposed to a linebacker. That's really the only difference. Not the only difference, but it's the main key, foundational difference between the two schemes. Now, here's how you beat cover 6. This is going to look like Earl Thomas' fault, but it isn't. He does the right thing. This is straight cover 6 all the way. Again, how do we know it's cover 6? Look at the top of the screen. Corners playing a cover 2 technique with your deep half. So what does that leave you to the bottom of the screen? That leaves you in quarters coverage. Number 1 vertical. Number 2 vertical. Earl has him man-to-man. And you have your underneath defenders here. Now what happens here, again, good design play. Earl follows a square in. This corner is left trailing. Completion, and a great run after the catch by Emmanuel Sanders. That's how you bust cover 6 up, both in real life and in the game. Now, can I get something cooking resembling this in Madden? That's been my project this week. I didn't want this video to be too long, but screw it. We'll show a couple of clips and walk through it. Why not? Alright, just a few clips of what I've been working on and how it's been playing out. There's some issues we've got to work around. There are some leverage issues where guys lose inside leverage, and that's contributing towards crossers getting separation, in addition to, well, the fact that my DBs are slow. They're slower than the receivers. I mentioned that in a tweet, that the speed of the offensive items are much, much higher than that of the defensive items, which, creates a problem of being able to run with crossers down the field, in addition to, the leverage issues and backside zones, cracking down on them in a timely fashion. I know in the last blog they mentioned some issues that they're still working on with curl flat zones and all that good stuff, where, they drift, and I'm assuming that's when going through the seam flat and the quarter flat, where they don't come down on the flat in a timely manner. They're not throwing vertical all the time. And you can mitigate that by cloud flatting and hard flatting and all that, but, still, I like to be able to rely on them to recognize the route distribution and adjust accordingly without having to do that as much as I would need to. But anyhow, we got this guy in 3rd and 31, and I'm just controlling Keanu O'Neal there in the seam flat. Don't care about that back but across, and he forces it. I mean, speaking of leverage issues, there is still that issue where the seam flat is letting number 2 vertical go clean, unobstructed, when it is a trips formation. And here in this, in these couple of clips against more of a meta-style player, running gun bunch with crossers and all of that. Again, my guys are trailing, but I'm able to take control and get the user swat there and recover. You saw there, that was cover 4 palms. I prefer palms to quarters for my trip stuff. More so against bunch. Well, trips and bunch. Here I'm in cover 9, and in 3rd and 9, I just changed the mid-read middle linebacker to a deep third. We got a bunch of guys there. And here I'm going to be in cover 4 quarters against trips tight end. This is going to be play action all across. And here you'll see the issue here with trailing on the crosser. I'm on a 3 receiver hook. You see the safety matching it across, but he just gets run away from. I mean, that's loss running across the field against the guy whose speed is in the mid-80s. If he was a smidge more athletic, he would have gotten there, and I would have been able to click on and get a swap. Here, I think he's running levels, but he's going to have Herman Moore run straight down the seam. I don't take the bait. I immediately cut number 1. You'll see here, I cut inside. He could have squeezed it in there to the crossing behind it, but he gets sacked by Vida before that could happen. Single back close, more compressed stuff. Let's cover 3 match here. I have a end going out to the hard flat, just in case he tries to wheel him out there that direction. Does not happen. And everything's pretty much accounted for. And we hold vertically there. It's coming along. I pitched a couple of shutouts in a row yesterday when I was playing. Pass pressure, it's always good when you have your pass rush waking up. I was straight cover 2 sinks. I basically played camp at 2 there. And here is the coup de grace. Empty. We're going to be in palms. And the biggest thing is to, when you're using the 3 receiver hook, is knowing when you have to carry and when you have bracket help so you can come down and cut.
First and 10. Here's Wentz. Escaping the pressure.
Nowhere to go. And this one, the big fella gets some glory here again. It's going to be an empty again, and we're going to be in palms this time, I think. Nope, I'm in match. On match, I'm using the deep safety. Nowhere to go, nowhere to go, nowhere to go. And Jarrell Casey. Let's go, big man. So, yeah, still a work in progress, coming along, and it'll be ready soon, I think. Hope you guys enjoy. I'll talk to you all later. Peace.